Hello and welcome to Brimwood Farm. Now the blustery weather from the weekend has almost gone, so it's time to get outside and do some work in the garden. Now I must confess, this year my veg patch has been an absolute dismal failure. I haven't planned properly, I haven't watered properly, my full-time job took up the hours I maybe had last year in terms of doing the planning and things. And also slightly the weather, it's been very dry again. And I've done tomatoes exactly the same and peppers exactly the same as last year. And I'm only just getting tomato flowers and I'm only just getting my first peppers, so that's partly to blame as well. And I also must confess that actually if I hadn't had this YouTube and I hadn't had you guys, there have been several moments where I've just wanted to walk down to this vegetable garden and rip everything out and give up, because it's been very disheartening. But none of that woe today. We're going to crack on. We're going to get some stuff sorted so that we do actually have some stuff growing for autumn and winter. I'm going to show you the state of affairs, and really there is nothing growing. So at this time of year, these should be full, and you can see this bed is almost empty. This bed is basically empty apart from this ironbark pumpkin. This bed, again, that should be full of greens. And we've just got some really limp beetroot and a few herbs, and again, that bed empty. So complete and utter dismal nightmare. We have a few carrots here, which I've been happy with. This was my radish bed. This year, I don't know what I've done. I don't know whether it's been water or nutrients or both, but my root vegetables sucked, to put it blankly. And I have just pulled them all out, because they were just stemmy, they weren't bulbing up, and there was just no point even growing them. So I've just pulled everything out. So we have a few beetroots down there, but again, they have been eaten away by caterpillars. My ironbark pumpkin, I do actually have, look, in here I have one, and then I noticed today there is another one. Oh, just beginning down there, right there. I had another couple of pumpkins. Well, I had a courgette in here, nothing, and another pumpkin, terrible. So you kind of get the trend of what's happening, but I'm not going to give up. So I popped some salad crops on the other day. So I've got these. So I'm going to prick these little lettuces out. So these are ready to grow on a bit. They haven't got a nice big root ball yet, so I'm going to wait until they're bigger, but I am going to prick them out today. And then in the greenhouse, I've got a few other things as well. So I've got some French beans. It's not too late, so I'm just growing them on a little bit more, and then I will get them out probably at the end of the week and try and get some French beans off them. And we've got some kale growing, ready for potting up and pricking out, and this will be sort of our autumn winter. And then we've got some chicory that I'm growing as well. So we have got some stuff growing, and again, here are our tomatoes. Normally by now there would be red little baubles everywhere. There's nothing at all. We do have some, as you can see, we have some lovely little tomato flowers. I'm just having a look now down below. I think this is my first set, but they don't even seem to have been pollinated. So yes, more failure. One thing I do have, a plum. We have 7 plums. My apples fell off, but I do have some plums. So that's one thing that I'm super happy about. So this will be the first plums I've ever got off this tree. Now with these lovely little lettuces, I think I sowed 3 per pot, but you basically only want 1. This is a tray of 40 pockets. I don't need 40 lettuces, so we can be happy to thin them out a bit. So we'll just go through this. Where we get to the red, there's some red and some green. I will take out the green ones because I prefer to have a nice mix of red and green, because it's a little bit more colourful. And pricking out sometimes seems rather sacrificial. However, it also, once you have done it and you get this little row of just single lettuces, is quite satisfying. Now I don't want to waste these little seedlings, so we'll go in here. And Todrick, what are you doing, matey? You're getting me stuck. Look, here's some greens for you. I'm also going to pull out these cabbages because they are just pointless, but they can go to good use too, so we'll feed them to the chickens. Oh, I might actually cut out that heart for myself, and then we'll give all of these leaves to the chickens. But this one is definitely chicken food. Well, here's our one cabbage head. We've only had 2 cabbages this year. Again, growing cabbages when you're in a small space isn't ideal because they just take too long and they take up too much space. But when we're on the farm, obviously I'll grow a lot more. But this is all of our cabbage remains, which won't go to waste because the girls will absolutely love it. Let's give them all the rest. Oh, just drop somebody's head. There you go. Sorry, monkey. Now the chickens are in a funny old state at the moment as well because half of them are broody and half of them are molting. So they're not looking in a particularly wonderful... I mean, look at Owlet. She looks horrendous. And I can't wait till next year when I can actually get them on pasture. And this is where I'm going to become a bit sentimental as well because really these are not great birds in terms of farming. I should really just have some hens that lay constantly, lay a high ratio of eggs. Most of these are mixed, they're old. She's about 5. We've got Stumpy who can barely walk because she was born with deformed toes. But she still lays all right, and you know she's having a good life. So they'll be coming with me, and I'll probably I'll have them in a retirement coop, and I'll get everybody else. I'll get some new hens in to supply me with eggs. Maybe these guys will just be my personal egg layers, and then I'll get more chickens to supply eggs for our customers. But the other good news is I got some more Ixworth eggs in and all 6 were fertile. I lost 1 after a few days, but I candled them last night and we got 5 growing chicks. If you remember the video from a couple of weeks ago where I was talking about the disastrous hatches I had this year as well, things have turned a slight corner with that. And we are looking like we're going to have some Ixworth chicks finally. The other really positive news is that it's almost time for Tally or Liara, whichever one I choose, to have babies. So they are 4 months old now. The guy that I got them off recommended that you breed them at 5 months. And as I said before, I'm going to offset it. So I'm going to breed one at 5 months. And then when she has kindles and she has her kits, I will then breed the next. So we're always kind of stepped off by 1 month. So currently they are in the hutch together, chewing on a nice little piece of cabbage there. But then when we mate them with Thane, who's down here, they will go, one of them will move next door into Ralph's run. This is Ralph's day out, so he's somewhere off in the garden. Goodness only knows where. He's off in the garden. One of them will go in there and Ralph will become a house rabbit. So Ralph will come indoors and be a house rabbit. So they've got the 3 hutches for the 2 girls and the boy. And then when we kindle and they start to grow up, I'm going to move the quail out. So the quail are currently live in this section, but the quail will come out and then I'll have this bottom half for weaning the kits off. So it is almost time for these rabbits to have some babies. And actually, here is Ralph, right down here. What are you doing, Ralph? Hello. So as we head into mid-August, I've got a lot of work to do to make sure that this garden is more successful in autumn and winter than it has been this summer, because it's been pretty dire, and as you've just seen, there is nothing really growing. We've got those lettuces to go in, and I've got the stuff in the greenhouse, and I'm definitely going to get some chard and some spinach on it as well, because those leafy greens will have a long enough now to grow up into small plants to provide a late autumn harvest, but also they'll sit in the ground over winter and provide a harvest early spring as well. So I'm going to crack on with that. If you've liked the video, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, come and join us at Brimwood Farm's community group. But I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.